Hey, Maria, back with another video. It's 10:57 a.m. Saturday morning, February 24th, and I got up, I would say, like around 5 o'clock this morning. Actually, I got up at 4:52 this morning, okay? I'm programmed to get up at a certain time during the week, so it becomes a regular habit for me. So, I got up today and kind of messed around the house a little bit. I ended up going back to sleep for a while, you know. It's kind of funny because I was thinking, I need to slow down a little bit more. Like, I know that I get up in the morning and I'm the kind of person, if I know I'm going to go to the grocery store, it's in the back of my mind, and I almost feel like there's a compulsive need to get out and do it right away. And I keep thinking, man, why am I like that all the time? I need to slow down a little bit. So I'm trying not to, feel so rushed. The whole rush feeling is in my head. I think it's because of years of programming from my family and their bullshit. I really do think somehow or another that kind of got incorporated into my some of my compulsive behavior when it comes to managing my time, which is kind of silly. But hey, it is what it is. But can I be deprogrammed from being that? I don't know, but I'm going to do the best I can to try to not be so, what do you call it, hard on myself, I guess. It just kind of slow down a little bit. So anyway, I was watching some of those Netflix shows yesterday. I was watching one called Occult Crimes, and this is about just different people who kind of got together and committed crimes, for various reasons. So there was one that, and they come from different religions, different, backgrounds, as far. But what the issue is basically some of the corruption that crept into their activities, and they always felt like, one of the repeated themes that I'm getting from these stories, and I haven't watched all of them, but the ones I have seen, it's pretty much just the moral of the story is how these people get into a position of power and they start to abuse it, no matter how well-intentioned they are when they first start, and it's very common for people to become like that. It's not unusual for any religious denomination to start getting bizarre if there is too much power. It's very difficult for the common man to have any sort of political power or control, whether that be in a small group or a large group or whatever. It takes a very balanced individual to lead a group. That was my thinking anyway. But yeah, I'm going to watch some more of those episodes that were actually pretty interesting. So anyway, it got me thinking. I was talking to my friend yesterday, and basically she was saying that one of her relatives was saying that, loners get a lot of attention. And, the funny thing about perpetrators, or people who participate in the observation of a particular individual for a long period of time, and the people who, just people who participate in gang stalking in general, what happens is, they create the chaos, okay? And then they wonder why you're responding to the chaos that they created. And because you're responding in a way that they don't expect, which in reality, your response is natural and completely normal, okay? Because obviously, being under those sort of situations, it's not normal, okay? So you're either going to lash out, or you're going to, kind of just go off to yourself or whatever. But either way, you're going to have some sort of reaction. And they don't understand your reaction because they're sending out people to get to know you and doing all this weird stuff. And you're not responding to it because you see that something's not quite right. And so you choose to be by yourself. So they basically create the drama. And then they want to fix the drama or somehow analyze it and then put the blame on you, oftentimes because of what they are doing, and I've noticed this throughout, these last few years that, the situations that I've been in have been created by, I would say my blood relations. and possibly, my soon to be ex-husband's family or whatever. And this is what ends up happening. And then they want to know why you're by yourself all the time. And this is why you're by yourself all the time, because they create the social, the isolation. They create it, whether it be because a person chooses that because they're tired of dealing with the weird people, or because the people are what I consider to be irrational, or just undesirable, for whatever reason. So it's a vicious cycle. It's a vicious cycle that gets created by these people. So everything that's basically happened to me is because it's a result of that whole issue. I do prefer, I do enjoy being alone. I do. I mean, it would be nice to have, maybe a few people, some people that to hang out with you and stuff like that. But, you have to be very careful, especially after what you've gone through. It's very difficult to find, what I call quality friendships, people who you can really trust. And that's important, I mean, people definitely need that. But, it gets me thinking a lot, though, about, when it comes to religion, watching that show called Crimes, which is, I'm really glad that somebody actually made a show about this, but all too often, like, little examples or stories or parables or whatever you want to call it happen all around us all the time. And then people find themselves in this situation, and even though they judge a situation that would be similar, they end up doing the same thing. And I find this really interesting because it has occurred to me that people don't really have a sense of what's right and what's wrong. And that's, it fascinates me. It does, because, you would think that we live in a very evolved society where people have, the kind of ethics and the kind of manners and behavior, whatever you want to call it. But they don't. They don't. I mean, there's like this savage beast that exists in just in large numbers in people. And it doesn't take very much to basically make that side of them show, It's very fascinating. And so anyway, I've got grocery shopping to do today, and I also plan on doing some cooking. I've been hanging around my house, and kicking back, relaxing is pretty much what I want to do this weekend. I'm not going to go out and do any, like, what do you call it, shopping or anything else. I think, when it comes to what I've put in my house so far, I'm content with it, It would be nice to get a new bed, only because, I think a good quality mattress is important. I mean, that's the most important piece of furniture that you could possibly have in your house, But, as far as, like, I'm content with it. Some people would be like, well, I want this, I'm very content. I think the colors that I chose for my drapes are really pretty. They're bright and colorful, and, no, I don't have much, but, I'm very comfortable with what I do have. I'm very comfortable. So no, I mean, as far as me buying anything else for the house, I think I'm pretty much done. I don't really need anything. So mostly I'm trying very hard to, catch up on bills, I guess you could say, is one thing. And then also, the stupid IRS. I don't want to get started with them. But, so anyway, this weekend I also was thinking about the cute guy. And, I'm sending him messages, letting him know I'm not mad at him and all this other stuff. So it's like, whatever. Kind of peculiar, but I think it's cute. But anyway. So, I'm just going to be doing some sleeping in between and working on art projects, some of the art that I'm making. I like making things. I really do, but I don't have a need for a lot of the things that I make. And some people are like, well, sell them. I've tried putting them on a website, but it just gets really wonky. You know what I mean? I'm not somebody who feels as though I have, like, great talent. Some of my projects come out great. Some of them look kind of silly. But I do enjoy making things. I do. It's not something I would want to do for a living, mind you, but I guess sometimes when you get depressed or antsy or whatever, it's good to have some sort of activity that you can get into that kind of, calms your mind. And I really do enjoy working with color, and I was thinking, because I have some canvas boards and I'm not somebody who can paint by hand, okay? And I wish I had that ability to do that, but I can't. I mean, I usually have to use stencils, okay? There are certain things I can draw, but very basic things. Like I can draw leaves. I can draw, like some flowers. I can't draw a tree. I mean, there's certain things I just don't have the ability to do, okay? Now, I do like to do a lot of sewing, and then a lot of the designs that I make are I use, like, for example, I might trace something and then kind of make my own stencil from that, and then kind of change it. Like if it's like a little person or something, I might change the facial features of the person, then keep what was already created. So I modify a lot of things, when it comes to my art, but it's fun anyway. So anyway, I am interested right now. My main hobby now is painting on foam sheets. Now, foam sheets are these like inexpensive items. You can get them at the dollar store. Okay, they're made of like obviously foam. They're very flat. Some of them come in like, I would say, like 8x11 sheets. Some come in like half of those sizes. Okay, so I've been using like the really short ones, just doing painting on them. And it got me thinking. I showed them to my friend, and she said, "Well, they look like tiles." And I'm like, "Yeah, they do look like tiles." If you cut them in squares and you do stencil work on them. Now, I like Talavera art. I think it's very pretty. I've always liked the tile work that they have. Unfortunately, I'm not in a position to have anything like that. But I will say that, if you cut the squares short, in nice uniform shape, and then you do decent stencil work on it, then you might be able to accomplish that. Now, I did make these right here. I don't know if you can see them. They are, I stenciled that, painted the foam board orange, and stenciled a design on it. And yeah, it does have, this one's green. I thought that was really cute. They do have the same function. I mean, I was thinking about putting like, what would happen if you put like an enamel type finish on top of it, like a spray, and see if it has more of a glossy look to it. Then it might have even more of a look of tile to it. But you have to improvise. Anyway, I'm going to wrap up this video. I will be back with another one later. Have a wonderful weekend. Bye bye.